Moving along to college football, let's talk Michigan State. Start this off. I pride myself on being a realist with my teams, usually. I don't like to over exaggerate. I don't like to bury, and I also don't like to crown any one particular player or team based on a very limited sample. I am a show me guy, right? Anybody who's watched the show for any amount of time knows that this is just the kind of guy that I am. What I saw on Saturday was one of the more impressive games from Michigan State than I have ever seen in a long time. And it wasn't simply that they won. It was how they won. It was the comeback. It was being down late in the game. It was at one point in the game. Let me see if I can it'll show me. Okay, here we go. It was at one point in the fourth quarter, 5 minutes down. You're down a touchdown. Maryland had a 94.3% win probability, according to ESPN, and managing to come back and win the game. That, to me, shows good coaching. It shows great, drive and desire from the players to not lose hope in a bad spot. And to do it not with fluke or players that have basically no future, to do it led by your youngsters, by your Aidan Chileses and your Nick Marshes of the world. That, to me, is what spoke volumes for Michigan State. So, Aidan Chiles, obviously struggling with the turnovers, but similar to, let's say, a rookie pitcher. Similar to a rookie pitcher, the home runs are what usually rookie pitchers struggle with the most. I think, and now rookie is not exactly the right term. Freshman quarterbacks, young quarterbacks usually will struggle with the most is the interceptions because their whole life, basically, they've been able to just sling the ball and their wide receivers are going to be able to get open because their ball is being thrown faster than any of the DBs that are, that are out there in space. And the college level and the NFL level, especially, reality has a say. And those DBs are a lot better than the high school ones. So it's going to take some time. But Aidan Chiles is 18 years old, and he threw for 363 yards. I don't care if you played the school of Helen Keller for the blind and deaf. You throw for 363 yards as a freshman, that's going to get my attention. Like, that is incredibly impressive. Like, in a large and you pick up 11 yards on your feet, which not blowing you away exactly, but still. Aidan Chiles has the potential, I think, to be that next star quarterback in the Big Ten. Now, will he live up to that? I don't know. But he's shown these flashes. It's a matter of cleaning up the turnovers, which is something that will have to come with time. And that's just the reality. Nick Marsh as well. He is him. Nick Marsh had a bad opening night in Michigan State against FAU. It was one of those things where I was a little disappointed. It's like, this is the guy I was getting hyped up for, and man, oh man, Nick Marsh, Little Megatron, apparently is his nickname. If he's Little Megatron, then I don't want to know what Big Megatron looks like, because he was so dominant throughout this game. 194 yards, a touchdown, a 77-yard bomb that brought the game back for Michigan State. On top of also Jerron Glover, who a quiet day or a quiet night for him because he's overshadowed by Nick Marsh. Jerron Glover had 84 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's pretty good as well. But again, you're being led by these new people. You're being led by these young players. That is a huge sign. The other thing I wanted to point out, run defense good, pass defense bad. Generally speaking, that's pretty much my takeaway. Again, you held Maryland to under 100 yards rushing. Their leading running back had 35 yards. Like, that is going to keep you in games from a time perspective. And again, it's a similar thing with the Lions, where they were able to hold the run, so the clock was pretty much in our hands for most of the time. And it's not like we were running the ball that well, but luckily for us, Aidan Chiles was able to really go off. Now, this week is going to be Prairie View, so it's not going to be much of a challenge, hopefully. So I think if we continue to see the steps from Nick Marsh, from Aidan Chiles, and from this defense to get better as the year goes, and Jonathan Smith showing that these players get better under him than they did under other coaches, namely Mel Tucker, right? Like that shows me that the future is very bright for Michigan State. And again, like now you look at it and you look at the week of college football, which we will get into here in a little bit. That 4-game spread or that 4-game, set upcoming that was at the beginning of the year seemed like a total disaster class. After the Boston College game, you got Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, and Michigan. First of all, Oregon hasn't looked like world beaters yet. Not that they won't ever, but they don't look completely unbeatable. Iowa just lost to Iowa State. Michigan got destroyed by Texas. Again, some of these are good teams. At least in Michigan's case, Texas is a good team. But all of a sudden, 3 out of those 4 are fairly potentially winnable. Not that it's almost losing to Boise State and almost losing to Idaho. And you on top of the fact that we know that Jonathan Smith as a coach has been able to beat Oregon. He knows what it's like to play football against Oregon. So the floor or I shouldn't say the floor. My hopes for this season was at the most 8-4. But all of a sudden, 8-4 feels like not just a hope, but a reality. Prairie View, look, again, I don't like to underestimate anybody because it's football and anybody can have a great day and anybody can have a bad day. Let's just assume, obviously, that you're going to beat Prairie View. That means that you would need 5 wins down the stretch. Do I think we could beat Boston College on the road? That might be kind of tough, but yeah, I think we could. We played Maryland pretty close. Not that Boston College is a top 25 team, at least as of right now, but I don't think Boston College is some world beater, right? But sure, maybe we lose that game. It's on the road. It's not an easy place to play. But what after that, you got Indiana. I think that's a win at home. Illinois, please, on the road. Illinois is terrible. Illinois is always terrible. Purdue at home, I think that's a win. And Rutgers at home, I think that's a win. Those are 4 games. And then you just got to win 1 out of the Boston College, Oregon, Iowa, and Michigan games. It's not some completely out of the realm thing. Michigan State does actually have a path to 8-4. And that would be huge in year 1 of Jonathan Smith to get bowl eligible and then some. Bowl eligible and then insurance. Exactly. If NIU can beat Notre Dame on the road, why can't Michigan State do something crazy? That's a good find, MSU Detroit fan as well. Boston College has Missouri this week, so that game should really give us what to expect from Boston College. Yeah, right. Boston College is kind of a borderline top 25 team. We'll get into the AP top 25 in a little bit here. But yeah, it's definitely I think it's open at the very least. Given the fact that we beat Maryland on the road, I think, short of the Ohio State game, that game I don't know is going to be all that open. And even potentially short of the Oregon game. The rest of these games, I think, are totally open. Totally open. Not necessarily all of them are going to be wins, or not necessarily that all of them are going to be must-wins, but it's a lot more open than I would have otherwise thought. So maybe, just maybe, we might have some hope in East Lansing. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.